Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius here, doing another action figure review. Now today we're having a look at the DC Multiverse Arkham Asylum Killer Croc. So I'll go through the figure first. Now just a clarification, in my previous video for the Man-Bat figure I said Clayface was from Arkham Asylum as well. He isn't, he's actually Rebirth Clayface. I'm not even sure, was Clayface in Arkham Asylum games? I'm pretty sure he was. I have a feeling there was a Clayface Joker, if memory serves. I could be wrong, but the box is pretty much the same standard affair. You have the Arkham Asylum name on the side, and then you have Killer Croc, and you have the giant CG animated look of the character from the video game on the back, which is also the same image that they use for the trading card that he comes with. You have the McFarlane Toys logo, you have all the legalese stuff on the bottom of the box, and I'm going to chuck this out of the way because it's so big and bulky it gets in the way of everything. So here's the figure himself. He comes with two accessories which are pretty much the same standard stuff that these guys come with now, which is the base and a trading card. Trading card has the Waylon Jones info on the back. Born with a rare mutation that made his skin green and scaly. He grew his body to grotesque proportions. Pretty much, if I just hold it there, he was raised by an abusive aunt, bullied relentlessly for his appearance. Briefly worked as a carnival freak under the name Killer Croc, but his misanthropy grew, as did his bestial nature, pushing him to life of crime. As his physical condition and mental state deteriorated, Killer Croc became more bestial foe, increasingly detached from humanity. So this look for Killer Croc is actually a really cool look. I much prefer this over some of the previous kind of versions of him. Most notably the Suicide Squad movie version was okay for what it was, but this one just looks so much more menacing. Now I'm going to do a quick comparison because I have this figure. This is the old Mattel, is it DC Unlimited line? I can't remember. It's the 4-inch, 3 3/4-inch Batman line that they did. They did a couple of mega figures. So they did Grundy was one, Killer Croc was the other, and who was the third? Was it Clayface? Yes, it was Clayface was the third one. So there was a Clayface in Arkham Asylum. They did kind of mega figures to go with the 4-inch line, and it looked really cool. This one looks very much similar, has some slight differences, but overall the overall look is the same. You have the wrist guards, the gauntlets, you have the big chain thing on his neck, same with the ones on the legs, similar color pattern, browns for those and greens for the scales. He's a fantastic looking figure. He's very much jointed as well. Now his head is kind of limited in what you can do with it, so you can get a little bit, it's not much side to side, it's more just a rotation than anything else. There's no real up or down either, but it's just more of a side to side, maybe a slight curve to it, but nothing much. Arms are jointed, you get a full rotation all the way around. You have single jointed elbows, which are on ratchets, as you can hear them ratcheting away. You have the hands, which rotate and are in a single joint. Now, unlike the other smaller 7-inch figures, the bigger figures tend to have just the one point of the ratchet. It doesn't have the ball socket that you can rotate around and then position it the way you want. But he has a punching hand and a grasping hand, which is pretty cool. He has the waist articulation. Now his upper diaphragm articulation doesn't seem to do much. It's very tight on mine, but the lower waist has way more maneuverability. Again, with a lot of the figures, he has kind of more rubberized crotch piece. So the pants and this rope piece is all one section, or not the pants, but the upper part of the pants, and it just gives him that extra range of movement, so it doesn't get in the way too much. He can do the splits quite well for a crocodile, or a crocodile man. He does have the double jointed knees, which has ratchets in them. He does have forward and back on the ankle. There's a bit of a slight turn to it, but the way the pants is sculpted gets in the way. I love the way that they have this kind of muddied look to the bottom of his pants, the way he's been like walking through sewers or something like that for like decades. You have these front toe articulation as well. He has the two peg holes on the bottom of his feet if you want to put him on the actual stand. He does stand pretty well compared to some of the other mega figures. I'll just get Man Bat to come back in here. Now, as I said, my Man Bat does have a bit of a loose ankle articulation on his right leg, so it does tend to flop down, so he may crash forward onto this guy, but we'll see if he can stand for the moment. Get him to stand up that way. So there is Man Bat. We'll bring in the Clayface. These are both rebirth figures. As I said, I thought this was Arkham Asylum. I think the design is still kind of similar to the Arkham Asylum one. And then you have a Batman figure to go in the center, just to show the scale. So, good old Killer Croc here stands about 9.5 inches in height to the top of his head. I don't think I did Man Bat's height. Man Bat is about 8.5. He's a little bit smaller because he's a bit more hunched over. And then Clayface to the top of his back, because that's the highest point on him, is around 8.5 as well. So out of the three of them, Killer Croc is actually the tallest. Now, I haven't gotten the Bane figure yet. Hopefully I'll get that soon enough. But I have a feeling the Bane figure is about the same height as Killer Croc here, so he looks to be around the same height as Killer Croc, kind of similar proportions as well, as in like he's more humanoid proportions compared to Man Bat and well, obviously Clayface, because Clayface is way top heavy, or no, way more bulk on his top. Similar with Man Bat, he has a bit more upper body bulk, but does look like Batman would be in for a bit of trouble if he was up against all three at the same time. But overall, he's a really cool figure. I do recommend picking them up if you can get them. They are deluxe figures, so they're a bit more pricey than the standard price, but they are worth it in the long run, and they look pretty cool on the shelf. I really like the Man Bat figure. Out of all three, I'd say Man Bat is my favorite. I have seen people customize his wings as well to have this kind of pinkish skin tone that they have on the side of his head to match up with the more bat-like wings. You can probably put a wash over Killer Croc here and make him look more darker, kind of similar to how the darker green is. And then Clayface I like, but the figure for me feels a lot more plasticky compared to the other two. This like whole upper section of his body feels a lot more fragile plastic than these two guys. So all in all, really good Killer Croc figure. I do recommend picking them up if you can get them. And as I said, I hope you enjoyed this video review. So as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.